Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. I'm Bob Mendelsohn, and this is the Bob's Your Uncle podcast. Today we speak with Lance Woodruff, who now lives in Los Angeles. He's originally from New Orleans. He's traveled the world. He's an audio engineer. He's a musician. It's going to be a great interview. Thanks for joining me for this Bob's Your Uncle podcast, Season 3, Episode 36. Of note, the opinions are my own and those of my guests. Note the music, Mendelssohn's Violin Concerto in E minor. You can now find us and comment to us wherever you get your podcasts. Tell us what matters to you, what triggers your joy, what bothers you in the world. Let us know. We'll see where the Spirit leads us. You might be on the road in Kansas City or at the gym in Sydney, wherever you are. Thanks for being with us these 18 minutes.
But I do know that I love you, and I know that if you love me too, what a wonderful world this would be.
On this date in history, 29th of August in 1526, the Battle of Mohawks, in a decisive battle, the Hungarian Empire is conquered by the Ottoman Empire, led by Suleiman the Magnificent. In 1831, Michael Faraday demonstrates the first electric transformer, and in 2005, Hurricane Katrina, packing winds of 230 kilometers an hour, made landfall out of the Gulf of Mexico, slammed New Orleans, Louisiana, and the state of Mississippi. 1,600 people died. And that's the historical marker of the week.
I know that if you love me too, what a wonderful world this would be.
Lance Woodruff, thanks so much for joining us on the Bob's Your Uncle podcast today. Lance, you're also a podcaster and you live somewhere in Southern California. Is it Los Angeles?
It's, yes, basically Los Angeles County, kind of in the valley, basically. So, yeah.
How long have you lived there?
Wow, off and on for a really long time. We actually just moved back in March, but I lived out here. We first moved here in '88, and been back and forth several times. Moved away to Kansas for a little while, moved away back to New Orleans, which is my hometown, for a little while. Moved to Europe for 3 years. We've moved to Portland for 4 years. We've gotten around a little bit. So
you're not running from the law, are you?
No, I think it's just genetic or something, because my mom kind of just always moved our whole life, and she enjoyed it, and I've always enjoyed it. So,
well, I saw on your, I don't know, Instagram or something, I saw that you're a world traveler. Where is your favorite place to visit, and what would it take to get you to move there to live?
Oh, it wouldn't take me anything to get to move there, that's for sure. For 3 years, we just did this digital nomad thing where we pick a different country every 2-3 months and just move there. So to pick a favorite is really tough, because it depends on the time of year and things like that. I mean, my favorite place I ever visited is probably Bora Bora. It was just incredibly beautiful. and then Norway. Like those are the two most beautiful places by far. But then Norway, I don't know that I could really survive a winter there.
You are the main spokesman and instrumentalist and musician for the one-man band Eaten by Clowns.
Yeah.
When did your fascination with clowns as horror actors take root?
Honestly, I've always just found it funny that people are scared by them in a way. I mean, I know I'm not mocking the fear. I know it's a realistic fear kind of thing. You know, it's not that. I find the irony of it funny. I think is what it is. You know, it's like they're meant to be something that's joyful and happy and all that stuff. Yet it's such a phobia for some people. So I think the irony of that kind of inspired the whole that whole name, basically. You know,
so you're using it ironically. As I watched some of your videos about Eaten by Clowns, I thought this was the dark side of Lance Woodruff.
I have fun with it. The people who actually like clowns, at least scary clowns, they're a very specific subgenre, and I was just trying to capture some of that to some degree. You know, I have fun with video editing, and visually, that type of footage is fun to work with.
I wondered if there was a bright side or a light side of Lance Woodruff, and what would define that?
Well, I also record music under the name Beautifully Flawed, and that's much happier, much more upbeat and dancey kind of thing. So I like. It's kind of funny. What sort of inspired it as well was holiday music is a big thing for me. I love having different collections of holiday music, and there's a tremendous amount of Christmas and holiday music and things like that, but very few Halloween songs that are. I mean, there's your standards that everybody loves. I mean, there's a nice collection, but it's not a huge collection, you know. So I just kind of wanted to contribute more to the Halloween songs in a way with Eaten by Clowns. It was just something to fit that genre, so to speak. You played around in October, yeah.
They say that Christmas, of course, or as you say, the holiday, the Christmas is the #1 season for sales. Hence, we get Black Friday, etc. And the second largest volume of sales is in October for Halloween in the United States. Mm-hmm. So maybe you've hit on something. Tell me.
I'm still working.
I'm curious about the phrase "beautifully flawed." Mm-hmm. Tell me more about that. Fill that in for me.
It was just a phrase I heard that I thought was just a beautiful term in general. You know, I mean, I think we're all flawed in some way for sure, but we're all beautiful in some way as well. So it's kind of you know, I think that if you look closely, you're going to find both of those things in everything. You know, I mean, whether a person, a place, I mean, a lot of things. Really.
Tell me about your podcast.
I'm a podcast editor. I actually have been working on a podcast and developing one with a good friend of mine that we haven't actually started recording yet, but we have all of our ideas listed out. So actually, I'm a soon-to-be podcaster as far as that goes.
So I'm talking to a pregnant woman, basically. You're almost there. The baby's there. You're ready, but it's not done yet. Okay. We're both members of the Buzzsprout podcast community, which sounds so prestigious. And there you say of yourself that you're an audio engineer. You love to advise people about their podcasts, maybe lots of other things in their lives. Where did you gain that expertise?
Oh, I had always been a musician, obviously. So I had a lot of experience just doing audio and making audio sound better, things like that. And it was a friend of mine had started working for a company where they used podcasts as a way to promote websites. It was having that constant original material that they released on a regular schedule helps the SEO of a website. So podcasts were one of those natural things that people started using to help their website. And that's what his business was helping websites. So he started pushing podcasts, and he needed somebody to edit them. So it started with a couple of them, and then it grew until it was over 50 different podcasts. I had 8 editors underneath me. I mean, it was booming there for a little while, and it got to be, it was enough work that I could quit and move to Europe and travel around for 3 years. That's basically how we did that, was because I was doing editing watch a lot of instructional YouTube videos. I subscribe to the masterclass thing, and I watch all the different masters there. Anything we can learn, basically. Michelle's the same way. My wife, while we were traveling around, she decided to learn to build websites. So she started learning some basic code and things like that, and she's really good at designing websites now. So we like to learn things. It's just kind of who we are, and I guess part of what we love about travel as well. You're always learning things.
This podcast, where you and I are just now, we're recording it in July. It'll air in August, and during August, my wife and I will actually be in Cyprus and in Turkey, two countries we've never visited, and I'm so looking forward to it. Until this week, when the news was reporting that it was 43 degrees, 44 degrees, which I need to translate for Americans is stinking hot. So
really hot.
Oh.
We've lived in both those countries, actually. So we lived in Limassol in Cyprus, and we lived in Istanbul in Turkey for about 3 months in Cyprus and 2 months in Istanbul. Both amazing. You're going to love both places, honestly.
What is the number one thing to avoid in Turkey?
Oh, wow. I don't know. You're gonna stand out as a tourist, and everyone will try to sell you things. And Turkish rug salesmen are incredible. They are. I was so close to not buying any rugs, and then suddenly we bought 2. So that's a warning. Be careful with those guys. They're really good at what they do.
Let's do some quick rapid fire answers, please. Los Angeles Dodgers or Los Angeles Angels?
Dodgers.
Pizza or burgers?
Pizza.
Coke or Pepsi?
I don't really drink soda at all, really. Just water, maybe a sweet tea because I'm from the South, but that's about it.
Sparkling. Okay, water. Sparkling or still?
Ooh, my wife would say sparkling. I would say still.
Okay. At least eventually the sparkling becomes still, and that's fine. You get along. Old or New Testament?
Old.
Kindness or severity?
Kindness.
What fun. Thanks. I don't know why I do those things, but I think I find out something about people. I don't know exactly what. Hey, Lance, this has been fun. Thanks for being with me on the podcast. Anything you want to share with the Bob's Your Uncle International podcast community?
No, I just just keep traveling. It's really fun, and there's so many ways to go about doing it. And I would say research ahead of time and learn as much as you can, because you'll get that much more out of your experience. So
take tours by. Should we, like when you go to Amsterdam and you want to go to Anne Frank house, there's going to be a queue that's forever, but you can jump the queue by buying the ticket online. Is that smart everywhere you go?
Most places, I would say. It's definitely kind of read testimonials on that kind of thing, because I'd say that's true most cases, but there are exceptions. It's some places you really don't need to, and by purchasing the ticket at a time, you're kind of locked into the time. So if you don't need to, you kind of be a little more flexible, and that's kind of basically what I would say. Just if you don't have to, don't do it. But there's times like you go to Sagrada Familia. I mean, you're going to want to book a time. So it's things like that. So.
Gotcha. And one last thing, you're a New Orleans man. You've been a Saints fan all your life, and that's pretty great. Drew Brees defined it for a generation, really. And now he is the coach or owner. He's the owner of a pickleball team. Have you followed Drew Brees into pickleball?
I haven't even followed the NFL as much as I used to. It used to be I watched every game from every team, kind of thing. Basically just for time issues. Instead of watching everything all the time and being just a really big fan of football and having the time to enjoy that, it just got to be where I just keep up with my team, because that's the most important one for me.
Do they actually show Saints football in Los Angeles?
This would be the first year actually that the pass has changed. So I mean, every year I've always gotten the one where I just watch it on my computer. So as soon as the game is over, I can watch it. This year is going to be a change for me. I have to actually figure out a new way to do it because it's moved to YouTube. So I might have to find like a local bar buffet or something like that. We used to do that here before. There was a big crowd of Saints fans used to get together for buffets in the morning and like eat breakfast together and watch the game. So if I can find something like that, maybe that'll work.
It's a good thing to do. It's a community, so it's not just you privately. The bad thing is you can't record it and fast forward through the commercials.
That's true. Yeah, that's when you go get you refill your plate, so you're okay there.
That's it. My wife and I often are in Nashville, which is where we have 2 daughters and 4 grandsons, and we will always go see the Kansas City Chiefs on the big screen at,
right.
They call them the Kansas City Bar or something. Every bar has its own team that they broadcast. It's pretty cool.
That's cool. My brother just moved there actually from Missouri, so I probably have to let him know about that.
Oh yeah, I could even tell him which one. And Lance, thank you so much for being on the Bob's Your Uncle podcast. It is a great thing. I'm glad to meet you. And I wish you a good rest of summer and a good life in community there in Los Angeles and wherever else you get to live. Shalom.
Thank you. You as well. Happy travels.
What do you think about all this? Write me on bobmendo@aol.com or comment or even video to me on Instagram or Twitter at Bob's Your Uncle PC. I'd love to know what you think about all this. Don't forget to post a review on iTunes or Spotify, wherever you're getting your podcasts. And also, don't forget to subscribe. Every week we read from the #1 bestseller of all time, the Bible, and today's no different. From Proverbs chapter 3, do not let kindness and truth leave you. Bind them around your neck. Write them on the tablet of your heart. Make sure you join me next week as I interview Shane Stubbs, a local Sydney man who is involved in the new science of physical health. We're going to talk about all kinds of sports. Until then, from me, Bob Mendelsohn, when things seem bleak or uncertain, look up to God. He's in his heaven, and Bob's your uncle. Shalom from Sydney.